Before you finalize that ticket, before you set that roster, you need the edge. Welcome to the 1 hour window that separates the winners from the losers. We're diving deep into the spreads, the over-unders, the value plays, and the sleepers you must start. Stop guessing and start winning. This is the Gridiron Gurus, providing the ultimate NFL advantage exclusively on the Empty the Bench Network.
All right, here we go. Hey guys, right now I am alone, but I will have someone joining me shortly to bring you a little bit of an early edition of Gridiron Gurus. But both my partners for this show had a busy Sunday, so we couldn't fit it in Sunday. So we figured we would do it today. But you guys may be able to tell I am a little bit under the weather with how my voice sounds right now. I have a little bit of a sore throat and stuffy nose, but I am pushing through because I just got to admit this. I love doing this. I love doing this, and it's fun for me because I never got to play sports. So the best way for me to get into the sports field is to talk about them or to write about them. So I'm that's what I'm doing with this. But before we get into the topics here, remember to follow us at HB Network on YouTube, and follow the show TFB Forecast, ETB, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Kick, I believe, and there's probably some others that I'm not mentioning, but I can't think of those off the top of my head right now. But hopefully you guys are having a good start to your weekend. It's going to be a good weekend. We've got we have had some of the NFL Combine. The defensive backs and tight ends were today. Yesterday, the linebackers and edge rushers went. And tomorrow we have quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs going. And there were some really good times for a lot of people. Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State, he ran a 4.46 40. And his brother, who is named after his father, he ran a 4.28 40. But for context here, Sonny Styles' brother is a cornerback, not a linebacker or anything like that. But he ran a 4.28 40. That is awesome for a corner. My question is, I watched the combine each of these last few days, to kind of brush up on my knowledge of the current prospects coming out. And I was wondering, some of the guys like Daniel Jeremiah and the insiders that are talking about stuff at the combine, they said that Sonny Styles' brother, let me actually look up his name so I can say it correctly, because I wouldn't be able to say it without looking at it. Hang on here, Sonny Styles. brother. Okay, so his brother's name is Lorenzo Styles Jr., who was obviously named after his dad, Lorenzo Styles. They said that he wouldn't go until day 3. Running at 4.2840, you could argue that puts you in day 2 category. Now you can't necessarily base, a guy's draft stock on his 40, unless you're Zach Wilson, who basically went from probably a 5th round draft pick to the 2nd overall pick because of one throw at his pro day. But that was because of one throw, and he didn't have any pressure in his face. That never works out for anyone. And I mean, Zach Wilson did go to the Jets, so the Jets are pretty bad. There we go. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you, Grant? Yeah, little late notice, but here I am.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm doing all right. I got a little bit of stuffy nose and a sore throat right now, but I'm pushing through. So I was just talking about the combine right now. Have you been able to sit down and watch?
This is one of the parts that I'm not prepared for. I honestly haven't watched much of the combine. And to be really honest with you, Grant, I don't put much stock in the combine.
What do you put stock in then, out of curiosity?
Their performance in college.
Okay. And let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think of like guys like Sonny Styles or aren't
there 2 Styles?
Yes. His brother Lorenzo Styles Jr. actually just did his combine today because he's a corner and not a linebacker.
Those two I'm pretty interested in. I feel like they're dynamic athletes, and I think they could hopefully do well on the NFL level.
Yeah, the thing that was really interesting to me was I've watched both of the days, pretty much almost all of them, or almost all of it, or most of it. So on NFL Network, everyone, there's like a tab where it says, mock drafts by whoever, like the insiders. And Sonny Styles, I'm trying to, one guy had him going like 28, and he ran a 4.4640 as a linebacker. And I know that that's not necessary. You don't really look too much into the combine, but I mean, if you come from Ohio State, you're gonna be a good football.
You're gonna be a great athlete. That's what you're gonna be.
Now, the only position that like you don't want to ever draft out of Ohio State is quarterback. Like that's one position they just can't get right for some reason.
I mean,
but go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, there's obviously, when I said that, I just mean that a combine is not a be all end all to determine what an athlete.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And for a guy like Mendoza, I mean, he doesn't really need this because he's obviously going to be the number 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've known for a while that he was number 1, and I mean, I have to say this, for the Raiders to again, like the past couple of years, have to fire their coach and rehire the head coach. I believe they finally got it right with Clint Kubiak. I am gonna say that he did build a little bit of a more questionable staff, in my personal opinion. But as the last, head coach that's hired, you're not necessarily given the best of options for your staff. But I do think that they were smart to get, an offensive-minded coach because of the fact that they will, even though they have publicly denied it, everyone knows that they're taking Mendoza. I mean, everyone knows it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Grant, even if they were to 2 or to 3, maybe depending how some teams fall, but like if the Giants were number 1 and the Raiders were number 2, they would still be the ones taking Mendoza. I feel like unless there was another one of these teams who dropped completely, like the Jets or the Dolphins, it was pretty obvious that the Raiders were Las Vegas was gonna end up being the destination for Mendoza.
Yeah, and Mendoza talked to the media today, and he did say that he actually Tom Brady wasn't in his meeting with the Raiders, but he did get to say hi to Brady on the phone. I'm sorry, but even though I don't necessarily want to admit that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time in football, even though he without a doubt is, and I and of course some people despise him for that, but if I got to have a phone call with Tom Brady, I would be so giddy for that. It's just insane. But so tomorrow is the last day of the combine, right? There's not anything Sunday, right?
I think tomorrow's supposed to be the last day.
Yeah, because quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers go tomorrow. Linebacker.
Oh no, there is Sunday.
What happens on Sunday?
Offensive lineman.
Oh, thank you. Okay, offensive lineman. Okay, that's.
But yeah, tomorrow's QBs, running backs, and wide receivers. So tomorrow is pretty much the big day of the bunch.
For most teams, but Mendoza is not throwing tomorrow. He's throwing at his pro day.
Not surprised.
I'm not surprised at that either. But I'm also it's publicly come out and said that Mendoza's pro day is on April 1st, and I just like to make the joke that that's April Fool's Day. So what are the chances that even though his pro day is on
April Fools, I'm not actually going to throw.
Yeah, I doubt that happens, but that was.
Did you see, speaking of Mendoza and the combine, did you see he was doing an interview with CBS Sports, and he mentioned that there was a team who he was not doing a formal interview with, but he passed by, just a little brief, hey, how are you? Good to see you. And this unnamed person, and Mendoza wouldn't name who it was, but basically said, he asked, could you do something like get arrested so you could slide down in the draft?
Yes, I did hear that. And why does that first of all, I mean, I'm going to say it's not these people because because the Raiders will draft him, but that kind of seems like something the Raiders would ask him to do.
It would be part of Raider culture now, wouldn't it?
But who could that be? If we were actually trying to
let me look at the NFL draft order. Let me see. So the Raiders are 1, the Jets are 2, the Cardinals are 3.
I mean, I don't think even if he wasn't taken by the Raiders, I don't think he'd make it out of the top 5. So
it can't be right. So it can't be one of the top 5. And if they're saying slide down,
they must mean.
Could it have been Miami? They're 11.
That makes sense. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised. Man, I wish that he actually said who it was.
It would have to be Miami or the Jets or the Vikings. Honestly, that's what it might. It might be Miami, the Jets, or the Vikings. I kind of want to say Miami.
You know what? I think you might be right. I like your prediction. I mean, because that's the word we have to use. Because You know what? I would be so shocked if when he has his introductory press conference with, I'm gonna say whatever team drafts him, just because I can't publicly say that it's gonna be the Raiders right now.
Oh, Grant, come on, it's gonna be the Raiders.
No, I know that, but I mean, until draft night happens, we
assume, and we know what happens when we assume. We make houses out of you and me.
Yeah, but I mean, if a reporter asks him that question in his introductory press conference, I would literally applaud them so much for asking that question in an introductory press conference, because that would just be so good for.
But I mean, good on Mendoza, but good also on Mendoza for having the character to not reveal who it is at the same time.
That's true. But who are you watching out for? Well, actually, you don't watch the combine.
No, it's not that I don't. I mean, it's not that I don't. Like I said, it's just we can't put so much stock into it because it's not the be all end all. We can't just forget about.
I mean, I did mention before you came on here when I started talking about the combine that players draft stocks rise and fall, because of stupid things, like, for example, and Nick is going to hate me for this, but just that one throw that Zach Wilson made as his pro day, probably brought him from a possible 5th round draft pick to the number 2 overall draft pick, because he made a miraculous throw with no pressure in his face and an off balance throw. I mean, and also I just have to say this, when Zach Wilson got up on stage in 2021 when he was drafted, he looked like a 13-year-old. He looked so young. I mean, he was so
better you than me to make that comment, because considering my age, it's like, yeah, I'm getting to the point where everyone's gonna look really young to me.
Yeah. But why don't?
But to answer your question, I mean, I guess guys like Diego Pavia and what's his name, Carson Beck, because I'm curious where they're going to end up falling within this draft.
I could give you an inference on Beck, but I don't know the first guy you mentioned that well.
Pavia's the one who who lost to Mendoza, and Pavia went on the crying spree afterward.
Oh, well, I think Carson Beck could be like a 5th round draft pick. I mean, he
you just never know, because sometimes, like you kind of referenced, sometimes these quarterbacks have some spectacular combine or pro day, and then all of a sudden their draft stock, all of a sudden they're going 2 rounds earlier than they should have.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're right.
I don't know. It's just Beck. Beck has gone places that more ruined his career than actually helped his career. I like that he started his career in Georgia, but I don't necessarily think it was the best choice.
You don't think Miami helped him out much?
No. And honestly, let's look back at last year. Let's just say that, for example, hypothetically, if a guy like I'm trying to think of like a high quality court. I'm just gonna throw a name out there. If a guy like Matthew Stafford came out last year in the draft, Cam Ward would not have gone number 1. I mean, and I'm gonna say this. I think that Cam Ward can be good with Brian Daboll as his offensive play caller. But there's also something that I want to mention about that. I don't think that Brian Daboll is going to be in Tennessee very long. I think he might be there for a year or 2 and then get another shot as a head coach.
Well, there's only one thing I can say to that, especially considering my team's history with Daboll now.
We're keeping a buck right now, we ass.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But I mean,
it doesn't help. But seriously, on a serious note, it doesn't help Cam Ward if the Tennessee Titans are not doing anything to build a proper team around him. You kind of saw that last season.
But here's the thing: the Titans do have the most cap space this year.
That's true too.
Which
we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Yeah, why don't we actually go into that?
Oh, you ready? Okay. The one other name I was going to make mention, by the way, I guess now it has to be Jeremiah Love. I know there's also been a lot of talk of Eli Heidenreich, who I'm interested, but like Jeremiah Love, I think he's fantastic as a running back. But my frustration as it regards to my team, it's not even that we have Cam. It's that we have Cam and Tyrone Tracy, and there were other needs. There are other needs.
You think that Jeremiah Love could go top 5?
There's a rumor the Giants are looking at Jeremiah Love.
And honestly, I'm going to say this. I respect that.
But here's my problem with it. We've had all this talk about needing a star receiver. We've had all this talk about the Giants needing defensive pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we going to use our first round pick on a running back when, like I just mentioned, we already have 2 of them?
I'm going to say this. I'd rather have the Giants get Jeremiah Love rather than a team like the Chiefs get Jeremiah Love.
Do you think John Harbaugh could do more for Jeremiah Love and his success in the NFL than Andy Reid and the Chiefs?
No, it's just the Chiefs are already so dangerous that adding a piece,
I see what you're saying.
Adding a piece like Jeremiah Love would make them 20 times as dangerous. Like, I mean, if you asked me at the beginning of the year, if I thought that the Bears would be picking at 25, I would have told you you're crazy. And then, if you asked me, if we were in a position to draft Jeremiah Love, would I do it? I would totally do it. But there's no way that he's making it to 25. I mean, I don't necessarily think that he's going to be. I don't know if he's not picked by the Giants, he may be like maybe like pick like 13 to 17, something in the mid.
That would still be considered a slide for me with Love. I've got a feeling Love's going top 11, top 12.
Well, he doesn't want to play for the Cowboys. His father hates the Cowboys. However, aside from Eli Manning and is there any other team or is there any other player that has never won didn't end up playing for the team that drafted them besides Phillip Rivers? Do you know that off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no. The best example is Eli Manning, and I have to do this.
Goddamn Cowboy.
Yeah. So like, I mean, although I will say this, I think Jeremiah Love would look pretty kick-ass in a Cowboys uniform. I just don't, and I don't imagine him being that much of a prick to say, "Oh, I'm not playing for the Cowboys if they draft me."
Probably not.
I don't even understand why he actually did it. Why Eli Manning did it. Like, it just came out and said that he didn't want to play for the Chargers. But back then, wasn't Eli Manning drafted in 2003?
He was 2004, so he was the number 1 overall pick.
I was 1 year old, so I didn't even know what football was.
Concerns over the organization's stability, poor management, and a belief they did not properly support or develop young quarterbacks.
Well, that sounds about right.
And honestly, the Chargers at that point, that was a legitimate gripe with them. This was still a couple of years before the LaDainian Tomlinson-led Chargers team that ended up playing the Patriots, then undefeated Patriots, in the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm. And I just think it's so awesome that the one person that has been able to beat Tom Brady is Eli Manning.
Honestly, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. But why don't we get into the next topic here?
Yep.
So the NFL salary cap is set at $301.2 million, which is up $22 million, if I read that correctly this morning. Which is, I'll never touch $300 million in the history of my lifetime. and I mean, my hope is to be alive till I'm, in my mid 90s, but I still, I mean, I'd have to work all 70 years of the rest of my life to even get close to that. But this, ever since the COVID, spike, a couple of years ago, the salary cap has just always gone up, and it's a constant, increase. It's never like, oh, it's gone up by $5 million. It's like 20 to 30, $million. And
let me actually double check something. Let me go back to the salary cap of 2020. The NFL salary cap in 2020 was $198.2 million.
So that's $100
million jump approximately in 6 years.
That's insane. And I mean, the new league year starts in
2 weeks.
A week. Not, a little less than 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
So March 9th is like the legal negotiating period for free agency, and March 9th is
the
Monday.
Legal tampering period.
Yeah, the legal tampering period. That opens, I believe, at 11 o'clock in the morning. And there are some teams that still need to get under the salary cap. My respected team is one of those teams. But I actually have Spot Track pulled up right now, and because of the increase on the salary cap, it says that we are negative $11.7 million from cap compliance. I can look at your Giants
I'm curious now with this, how teams now are faring in terms of their cap space, because this is quite the jump. So as you mentioned, I actually just pulled it up myself. You mentioned the Tennessee Titans having the most space. So it looks like they have 90.3 million right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and
the Giants have 5.5 million in space.
Yes, they do. But I mean, when you look at guys on your team, I mean, you've got Brian Burns. You're paying him $37 million, which is insane. Dexter Lawrence, you're paying him another $27 million. And then you're paying a corner $24.2 million.
Right, which played into some of my frustrations last season, when we're paying this kind of money for this kind of defense, and it's what's costing us games. Like,
well, I mean, yes, you have,
a right to gripe,
a right to be upset, but like also it was also your coach's decision that cost probably 5 games last season.
Oh yeah, no, if it's not for our coaches last season, and what frustrates me is that Brian Daboll somehow was the one who ended up getting fired first.
When you think it should have been Joe Shane?
No, because I thought what's his name? Oh, Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen, I think, should have been the first to go.
No, you know what? I think you're right. Because
I remember questioning Johnny. I said, okay, what happens if the Giants blow another game or two? Then you have to get rid of Bowen as well. And guess what happened? they blew another game or two. So
Yep. And here's the thing. When I saw that Harbaugh was fired because I don't think he was actually like fired as an actual firing. I think they just wanted
mutually
to
agreed to part ways.
Yes, wanted to get younger. When it was released that John Harbaugh was going to be looking for another place to play or coach, I immediately knew that he was going to go to the Giants.
I wanted him as soon as that happened.
Like when John Harbaugh was fired, this was like when last year when Mike Vrabel was hired to the Patriots. Like there was just like a place that you knew he could go and actually immediately, not necessarily immediately succeed, but have the most success.
Right. I mean, you're right that we're going to immediately succeed because it was just last year where the Patriots were a 4-win team. And now this year, they were a 4-loss team who makes it to the Super Bowl. And and with the Giants right now, and I said this towards the end of the season, this is not going to be a 1-year rebuild process. Absolutely not. And but it seems like people are happier with Harbaugh there, with Dawn there, and it seems like Joe Shane is pretty much going to be forced out at the end of the season, considering the reports that he's basically only doing scouting at this point.
But here's my thing with John Harbaugh as the coach. Like when you guys hired him, first and foremost, that was an A+ hire for me.
Mm-hmm.
Once he started putting his staff together, that's kind of what made me lower the.
Okay, yeah, which I do question putting Matt Nagy as the OC.
But I mean, it probably only went from like an A+ to an A-. It's just I don't know. Like if you wanted to get the most success out of Dart, the offensive coordinator that you needed to hire went to the Browns. I think the best offensive coordinator for Jackson Dart would have been Todd Monken. But I also respect Monken for taking the Browns job, but I also have to come out and say I do also wish him luck because it just seems like whoever coaches the Browns is morally screwed with whatever they do.
Pretty much.
But that was a little bit off topic, and I'm sorry, but I just
all good. As far as franchise tech, so looking back at the spot track, I can get back to it. So there are 3 teams that above everybody else are still in major cap hell. Even, obviously there are more teams in the negatives. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 12 teams in the negatives, but there are 3 teams who stand out. The New Orleans Saints have negative $44 million in cap space. The Minnesota Vikings, unfortunately, negative $44.35 million in cap space. And then the team with the worst cap space, how about them Cowboys? $58 million in the hole.
58?
58.
Here's
58.
That is insane. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I don't like. So like one of the teams that was in major cap hell before doing a couple of moves the last couple of weeks was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right now they're listed at minus 8.6 million.
Yes, but here's the thing. So until they restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, they would have been like negative like 50 in cap space, like in the hole, because when they restructured his contract, they freed up 43 point something million dollars in cap space.
And you have to imagine that's done because they want to make a big free agency splash.
But who could that be?
I already have an idea. I know what it's going to happen. I know who it's going to be. They're going to get Tyreek Hill back.
Even with the gruesome injury that he had?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, let me come out and say that I respect your inference, and I think you're right.
I think what's going to happen is Tyreek Hill, like you said, he had the injury last season. Obviously, what's happened in Miami has not gone their way. Kansas City right now is desperately trying to make sure that
Miami is going through a fire sale.
Oh, Miami's going through an absolute rebuild at this point. But I think Kansas City, you know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like the Golden State Warriors of the last couple of years, where it's everything's okay. There's no need to panic. Mahomes might be hurt, but we got Tyreek Hill back. The glory days are still here. It's trying to.
My only thought process with Tyreek is that the injury that he sustained is so gruesome. Will he have that second gear?
Well, the fact that you're questioning that, I mean, I'm also questioning Pat Mahomes because I don't think he's going to be ready for opening week.
I don't necessarily think he'll be ready for opening week, but I think I could see him ready or trying to get back by week
by October, the start of October.
Probably, yeah. And also I want to say this: if Mahomes is coming back, within the first month, Kelsey will be back for one more year. I will also say this: I do only think that it is only one more year. I don't think that Kelsey has that much left. I think he's got one more year before he probably should hang up the cleats because he didn't look that great this year, but neither did the Chiefs. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
Fair,
but like, if Mahomes will play, Kelsey will play.
I think that's something I'm definitely going to be looking at to see if that happens, because I could have sworn that Kelsey was probably going to be done for at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a possibility. I mean, he's getting married in a couple of months in June, I think, is what that was
to the biggest pop star in the world right now.
And I'm happy for him, but I could give two craps about Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. No, I mean, I'm happy that the salary cap continues to increase. And it's going to be interesting to see, what are the possibilities? Like, I mean, if it's steadily increased, for the last, 6 years, like, I mean, imagine if the salary cap one day in the future, now this will probably be a long time in the future. We may not be here, but I mean, one day could the salary cap be set at $1 billion?
That's what I was just thinking you were going to say. Probably way into the future. Probably right now. I just find it so funny that we've got, one sport where we've got a salary cap and it just continues to increase. And then we got another sport like baseball. Yeah.
Doesn't have the salary cap at all. And you can sign baseball players to technically $1 billion contracts. And
right now we're in a state of prayer that we're even going to have baseball past 2026.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, no, it's not looking good for baseball at this point.
Why?
The players want a salary floor and the owners want a salary cap, and neither is willing to budge.
Well, I don't know how to comment on that. So, but why don't we go?
You don't need to.
Yeah, why don't we go into the next couple topics here?
Definitely.
Kyle
two franchise tag topics.
Yes, and both of these are respectable tags in my personal opinion. Kyle Pitts was franchise tagged by the Falcons yesterday,
I believe it was yesterday.
And I'm gonna look up the the tag numbers because I don't have that off the top of my head. Franchise tag.
Actually, it was 3 days ago. I just had the franchise tag numbers before. I didn't know I was coming on. Otherwise, I would have had that ready on my screen.
No, it's okay. I've got Twitter pulled up right now, so I can find it. Okay, so for tight ends, the franchise tag. Oh, that's transition. The franchise tag for tight ends is
$16 million or something like that.
$15.045 million, which for Kyle Pitts, that's a respectable number. And I'm gonna say this. I am actually really excited to see him in a Kevin Stefanski offense. When Stefanski was fired again from the Browns,
right?
So it doomed to fail. Because you have nothing in Cleveland. You have a quarterback that hasn't even contributed and has a cap hit of like $80 million. So he's taking up, almost a third of your cap space, or whatever. So when he was fired, I'm like, I think he's going to get another shot at a head coach somewhere. And, John Harbaugh was hired first with the Giants. And then I want to say within like 2 days, Kevin Stefanski was with the Falcons. And
it was a couple of days, but yeah. And I think if Harbaugh wasn't there for us, then I would have wanted Stefanski because, and I know Nick and I have gone back and forth on this, but when you are with an organization like the Cleveland Browns and you're able to pull off 2 Coach of the Year awards and get them their first playoff win in a long time, I think that's worth putting on your resume. And I think, at last season, we finally got to see highlights. We got to see in bits and pieces, not in a full season, but bits and pieces, what this young up-and-coming Falcons offense could be like. You saw Bijan Robinson have the season of seasons to the point where he's going to be the number 1 overall pick in most fantasy drafts next year. You saw Kyle Pitts finally. He's been one of the biggest frustrations that we know he can do more.
Because he is the highest tight end that has ever been in the NFL to be drafted. He was drafted number 4.
Yep.
Like, that is unheard of for tight ends. Usually go like, mid first round to second round. I mean, the names that come to mind, were our Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, but like, tight end is never, that high of a draft pick. Usually it's, 1 through 5 is usually when you want to take like a star quarterback, star edge rusher, maybe a star safety. In fact, I think Caleb Downs could be a top 5 pick.
But you're right. It's like positions like running back and tight end you don't normally see go within the top 5. I mean, even Saquon Barkley is an outlier in that regard. And Saquon Barkley has been a star running back since he's been drafted.
Yeah, no, but I'm really excited to see what Kyle Pitts looks like in Kevin Stefanski's offense.
Which is why I was going back to my point of Pitts and Drake London and all of them. You got to see in bits and pieces what this offense can do. The question is going to be who's going to be at the helm with the quarterback reins next season.
Well, it ain't going to be Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you that much.
Not Kirk Cousins.
Which honestly, I mean, I get why you're going to release him because his contract is huge,
ridiculous.
And when they gave that to him, my jaw dropped. I was like,
that wasn't him. My jaw dropping wasn't about that. You and I met for the first time on the 2024 draft stream, and the look on all of our faces, it was you, me, Zan. I think Ben might have been there. A couple others might have been there. And we're like,
Zan, Nick.
No, Nick was in Florida that year. That year I was running everything.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You did.
Yeah. So I remember asking you and Dan. I said, so this organization, the Falcons, gives Kirk Cousins this big contract and then drafts Michael Penix Jr. 8 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It left me scratching my head. And now neither of them are Cousins is with the team, and Penix probably isn't going to be ready for opening week. So who's going to be your quarterback?
If I am thinking correctly, the torn ACL that he has is in the same knee that he tore in college, right?
I want to say yeah.
That's not good.
Which further asked my point of who's leading that Falcons team then? Who's going to be the quarterback?
I mean, the trade market is going to be very interesting for QBs because there is a quarterback that I could mention that I could see going to Atlanta, but there's also another place that I think makes a little bit more sense for him, and that's the quarterback that I'm thinking of is Malik Willis. I think he goes to Miami because of
the contract situation with Tua.
Well, not only that, but he would also know the head coach and the GM from his time in Green Bay.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And I think that's always in a player's mind. Like, oh, could I just go to a team that I know people? Because I'll know that I know how to beat their defense, and I know what thought process they have for building a football team. But
well, if they're not going to draft somebody because they're not in the position, they're not going to trade up. Then
they're not in a position because their first draft pick is 48.
Oh, that's right. They don't have a first this year
because they traded for James Pierce last year.
Oh, that's right. So that means you're at that point, you look at the unrestricted free agents for quarterbacks. It's not that impressive.
No,
Daniel Jones is there, but he's probably going back to Indianapolis. Aaron Rodgers is there, but he's probably going back to Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy G, Mitch Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, Josh Johnson. They might have to take a swing on one of these other quarterbacks that are projected second, third round.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see where a guy like Kyler ends up, because I don't think that he stays with Arizona.
That's actually good. That's actually a good point. Maybe but what would they have to give up for Kyler? Unless Kyler gets released before a specific deadline.
I don't think he gets released, but you'd probably have to at least give up a first for Kyler. And with Ian Cunningham being a rookie general manager, I don't know if you want to do that yet. But why don't we go into the next franchise tag?
Because what's funny is we're talking about NFL salary cap, and we're talking about the Cowboys having the worst salary cap of them all, and then they go and do this.
So this franchise tag for George Pickens is set at I'm always looking at the wrong one. $27.3 million.
But now there's a key difference. This is a non-exclusive franchise tag.
What does that mean?
So, if I'm not mistaken, what that means is he can still he is free to negotiate with other teams. And then basically, and then the process is basically going to be a restricted free agency, where if there's a deal that he likes and he wants to go to that new team, the Cowboys have the opportunity to match. Yep.
Okay. See,
so I mean,
I like that. And I do think that George Pickens would have his offers to choose from, but at the same time, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were a 1-2 punch that was great. I'd be so surprised if he'd want to leave that. And I understand that he might want to be a number one somewhere.
Yeah.
But if you're on a team with CeeDee Lamb, the double coverage will go on CeeDee Lamb and you're open.
Right. And we saw that this season where George Pickens had a major breakthrough.
He had a little under 1,200 yards, right?
It was something like that. Yeah. He was one of the best wide receivers of the season. In fairness to the Cowboys, it was not their offense that cost them this season. They had a lousy defense.
And that was a credit
because
to,
of the trading away Micah Parsons.
Well, it was a credit to trading away Micah Parsons, which I'm still pissed at because I have to deal with him twice a year for the next 4 years.
No. But honestly, the frustration does need to go to Jerry, where it's like, we don't need Micah Parsons. We have a great defense. We still have a great defense, and our offense is going to lead us the whole way. How about them Cowboys?
Well, it's not even. I'm not even frustrated with Jerry. Or what I would be frustrated at was the defensive play caller, because Matt Eberflus was a terrible play caller. I'm sorry. Like I don't even think he's got a positional coach position anywhere, which completely makes sense because I don't understand how he even got a head coach job in the first place. And the only reason that I know that is because it was for 3 years, it was with the Bears. And, for the first time in franchise history, the Bears decided to fire him mid-season because of how terrible his team was.
Well, the fact that he had that terrible clock management, what was it, Thanksgiving time? Like, I'm sorry. That was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But what I want to say about George Pickens is that, it's like risky one way or another, because on one hand, you have the fact that, you're already so many $1 million in a hole, and now you're placing this tag on him. You got to find the room for that money. And on the other hand, he could end up walking away. Now, there's a middle ground here where there is a big concern. And it's something that we've already seen in the past with some of these big stars like Dak and CD. Is George Pickens going to be the next to do a lockout and a standoff with the Cowboys?
I totally could see that.
That's my prediction. That's my prediction.
Because here's the thing about George Pickens. He has behavior problems.
Oh, no, you're right. He had behavioral problems when he was on the Steelers.
I think he had behavior problems when he was in college. I can't confirm that because I do not go to Georgia, for college. But I think I saw a couple games where he crashed out on the sidelines and all that stuff. And crash outs are expected in the NFL, but it was a little crazy with Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm also interested to see, like, hypothetically, if he's not going back to the Cowboys, where would he go?
Well, what team?
I'm not asking for a prediction, but if you have one, go ahead.
I want to bring up the salary cap thing because, again, what teams are there that would give him that need a receiver would give him that big kind of money?
Yeah, $30 million. The Giants.
We'd have to make the room. We only have $5 million in cap, but yeah.
That's right.
Well, the thing is, when you look at some of the top teams in terms of most cap space available. So I was saying, like, they're, the teams with the most cap space available, they are in good positions. Tennessee's on there. Jets are on there. The Vegas is on there. Washington, but I don't know if he wants to go to those teams. But there are two in the top 6 that just caught my eye.
Uh-huh.
The Chargers and the Seahawks. I don't think he's going to Seattle, but could you imagine Cooper Kupp, JSN, and George Pickens as your receiving core?
You could probably stamp it that the Seahawks would be back in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
That would be something. I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, first of all, last year when Cooper Kupp was released from the Rams, I did not expect that, and then I did not expect him to get $45 million from the Seahawks
To be their number 2 at this point, because JSN's their guy.
Yeah, and I mean, Cooper Kupp is what, 28?
Something like that.
I'm looking that up.
32.
See, so he's even older than what I thought. So he signed a 3-year, $45 million contract at 31, and is going to play until he's 34, and he still looked like a very respectable wide receiver too in the Seahawks offense.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that would be dangerous. The Titans would be a good one because even though they have Calvin Ridley, I mean, he didn't really do that much last year, and having a younger wide receiver for Cam Ward would be helpful. And I mean, I feel like Brian Dable is another one of those coaches that maybe he gets another head coach job in a couple of years, but I
don't know if, considering George Pickens' personal issues, I don't know, character issues, if you will, I don't know if he and Dable are going to mesh well.
Or Saleh, because I don't think Saleh deals with any bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I can see him going back to the Cowboys, but I don't know. I mean, it's a wait and see for
Yeah.
Where
my prediction at this point is he's going to stay with the Cowboys, but there's going to be another
holdout.
Holdout, yeah. Like the 3rd and 4 years or something like that for the Cowboys team.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 4 because Micah last year before he got traded.
Yeah.
4 years in a row. So it'll be ridiculous. We do have a couple more topics before we get out of here.
Yeah, but well, and these are more stuff that we'll like run through quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So at the combine, actually yesterday, Jermaine Johnson from the Jets was traded to the Tennessee Titans for Javondre Sweat. Did I say that name correctly?
Devondre.
That's a little harder for me to.
I know, but no. I kind of like this for Johnson's sake because you just mentioned Robert Saleh and the Titans. The two are reunited, and we talk about the several things that the Titans need. One of them was a pass rusher, and for Johnson, this can be a nice change of pace.
Yeah, and here's another thing that I actually didn't know you could do this. I didn't know that you could actually trade players, before
it's not official.
It's not official, but in 2 weeks
it will be
10 days or whatever. It will be, when the new league year starts on. That's March 11th, right? Not March 9th. That's the 11th of next month, right?
Yes, the 11th. Sorry, I was doing my Aaron Glenn at the combine impression.
Oh no. Yeah. Aaron Glenn was
even though I'm not the biggest one with the combine, at least I'll pay attention here and there. I won't fall asleep like Aaron Glenn does.
You know what? We got to make a meme and send it to Nick and see what he says.
I'm sure if you had Nick on this show, he would be fueling with fire at Aaron Glenn.
I am fairly positive about that too. Now I'm not sure if this is just like a player swap or there's like a late round pick involved.
No, I think it's a 1-for-1. That's what it looks like on the NFL.com. It looks like that on the NFL.com report.
That's interesting.
That's a rare thing to see in the NFL.
That is rare. I mean, I would at least expect like one team to throw in a 6th-round draft pick or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the thing is sometimes for a player to actually progress in his development is a simple change of scenery.
Yeah.
And with Jermaine Johnson, he goes back to a coach that knows how to use him, and maybe he's just gonna do a better job in Tennessee, because the Jets on both sides of the ball never have any help.
Yeah, no.
So
and Robert Saleh is a defensive mind. He goes from somebody like Aaron Glenn to somebody who knows him, knows how to use him, like you mentioned, and somebody who, at his core, I mean, Robert Saleh just had a lot of success as defensive coordinator with San Francisco recently.
So I mean, I like it. And going into our final topic, like what other trades could we see? I mean,
Max Crosby.
Okay.
I think the bridge between the Raiders and Crosby is.
I see it, but my question is, where?
That's the question I've been trying to figure out, because I think the Raiders.
Actually, I read something today that kind of, well, I'm intrigued by it, but I would also be a little pissed off if this happened. So it said that Brad Holmes, the GM for the Lions, was really intrigued about trading for Max Crosby. And
I've heard Lions, and I've heard Cowboys.
Okay, seriously, you've heard the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, here's an interesting one. So ESPN did an article last week about some potential trades that could happen, like 4 different trade predictions on a Max Crosby trade. So for the Cowboys, Dan Graziano imagines. Oh my God. Okay. These might be ridiculous. So I actually want to go. Dan Graziano imagines Cowboys receive Crosby and a 2026 second. The Raiders receive a 2026 first and George Pickens.
That's it?
I think Graziano, for Graziano, there's a little bit of a message here. Where is it? Where's all my Stephen A stuff? Oh, here it is.
Wow.
I think that's ridiculous, man.
Stephen A, man.
I just made it. I was at my birthday dinner.
Happy birthday, Ben.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
The Chargers. So Seth Walder has one where it's Crosby in exchange for a 2026 second, a 2026 sixth, and a 2027 fifth.
That's a little low.
Say it one more time?
What happened?
Say it one more time, that proposed trade?
Yeah.
So this is from Seth Walder. He says Los Angeles Chargers get Max Crosby. The Raiders get a 2026 second round pick, which we number 55, a 6th rounder, and a 2027 fifth.
Do they have any profiled names in that too? So that's not happening.
No.
Then you get a profile name with Crosby. That's essentially what the reports have been, and then you have to get some added guys with that.
So Ben Solak has Crosby in a 2027 fifth to the Buccaneers.
Ooh.
And in exchange, number 15, a 2027 second, and Chris Godwin.
Now that I think they never.
That might actually be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. There are a couple of trades that I could see happening.
Wait, Grant, there's one more that you might want to hear.
Is there one with the Patriots or no?
No.
Damn.
All right.
These are just 4 hypotheticals.
All right, well, Tom, go ahead and say the one that I would probably like to hear.
Grant, Jeremy Fowler
Mm-hmm.
proposes this hypothetical trade.
Mm-hmm.
Max Crosby to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
In exchange, you guys give up number 25,
Uh-huh.
a 2027 third. Here's the one I'm uncertain about.
DJ
And
Moore.
you give up DJ Moore.
I knew it.
Well,
I
okay.
knew it.
Let me come out and say this. As much as I don't want this to happen, I do imagine DJ getting traded somewhere. I don't necessarily know if
I might have a spot, to be honest.
but here's my thing with DJ getting traded. As much as I would love it if he was included in the
I don't think you guys are giving up DJ Moore, at least not in this kind of trade.
I don't think so either. But here's the thing: I don't really want to trade DJ to somewhere where he goes from a winning even though it's the first season, the first season of a winning franchise to a absolute dumpster fire.
What if, say, AJ Brown got traded? Would DJ Moore entertain going to Philadelphia?
I think he would.
Because Grant, when I look at DJ Moore when it comes to an overall profile receiver, I feel like he's in the middle between a 1 and a 2. And I think for the Eagles, like if AJ got traded, Devontae would be their number 1 clear-cut guy. But I think TJ is like a perfect complementary receiver. I don't know if he's a number 1 per se, but I do think that, I don't know if AJ is going to get traded. And if he does, he'll come to us. I feel really.
Wow. Are you that confident in that? Or is that just your bias?
No, I really think there is a very good chance. I don't have any insight.
Honestly, even if you said it was your bias, I would have been totally fine with that.
No, because right now reports are, the trade. So, trades that could obviously happen. I don't know if you guys mentioned AJ Brown at all yet for any team.
Not yet.
Not.
So, I'm gonna say the Pats. I'm trying to just think in terms of what our overall. Because we do have capital. We do have draft capital we can use, for him. And reports are right now that the future of Stephon Diggs is basically being up in question. Either he gets cut in a couple weeks or restructure him. And there has been a report. I don't know if you guys saw this today, but there was a Patriots beat reporter that said today that I'm very, very trustworthy, by the way. He said that there's a potential that Stephon Diggs might restructure that contract and have A.J. Brown come in with him. And basically you have A.J. Brown as your number one guy, and you have Stephon Diggs as your clear-cut number 2. Because there could be a situation in which we might move on from some other receivers or some other guys. I don't know if Stephon Diggs, what his legal situation is going to be at all, but I think it's right now 50-50.
He gets in a lot of legal situations.
Yeah, well, we will know. Reports are right now that we'll find out in a couple weeks, and obviously in a couple weeks is free agency. So it basically is really that. I've also heard too for the Pats that we're interested in Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals for defensive end, which I think Corinne and I, we talked about defensive end. It was one of the places for the Pats. Another guy was Isaiah Likely, but he's going to be a free agent. So I think he'd be somebody with him and Drake May. I think would be awesome if we can do that. And then Tom, you might know this name. He got acquired this past season from the Eagles in a trade deadline, and that is Jalen Phillips. The Patriots reportedly have been interested and tied with him as well. So at least those are some, at least for my specific team that I've heard about. But yeah, going back to DJ really quick though, Eagles I think are a really interesting one. Another team could watch maybe is, so I think this is more of a long shot, but say if Mike Evans left the Buccaneers, and he shouldn't be. That
is a long shot. But I go ahead.
But I feel like he would be an awesome guy to have just with the complementary pieces with Baker as well with the Bucs. He could go down there. He could be with guys like Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin, just kind of being that nucleus of guys. I just, for me, Grant, I think Roma's a really good guy to be with DJ. I just don't know if DJ is a 1 per se. I just don't. I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, and with all the mouths that we have to feed now in Chicago, there's a possibility that someone just has to be the outlier. And with DJ having the largest contract of every, wide receiver that's on the Bears, I just have a feeling that the outlier is going to be DJ. I mean, it is reported that if the Bears were to restructure his contract, they would clear up like $16 million at most. But if you trade him, it's like 16.8. So it's around the same, same money for each. But if you could get a draft pick in return for DJ, I would welcome that, but it would have. I'm hoping that it would be like a third,
Okay.
But like, here's another one that I would entertain. If the Giants and Bears got on the phone for like for a player for player swap, I would give them DJ.
Would you interested, Grant, for the Bears to get Wan'Dale Robinson? He's reportedly potentially out there.
He's a free agent.
Right. Yeah.
But here's my my Bears and Giants trade. I would give you guys DJ if you would give us Thibodeau.
I know there were rumors about Thibodeau being traded last season.
Who would the teams be for Thibodeau? I've heard about potentially him on the move. I don't know where to go though.
The only reason I might be interested in it is only if we can say for certain that Malik Neighbors is going to be back and is 100% healthy at the start of the season.
Yeah.
I think if there's any apprehension that he might not be, then I wouldn't risk it. Only because, like Ben mentioned, DJ's somewhere stuck between a 1 and a 2. And for the Giants, I feel we need, if we're going to grab somebody, I don't know if DJ's strong enough to fill that 1 or 2 kind of need. I think there's a chance he could be a 3 on the Giants.
Well, who would your 2 then be if DJ came in?
Actually, no, he would be 2 probably.
Yeah. I mean,
no, he would be 2.
I guess Scat, I could kind of look at it as like your 2, but he's more of your back.
Right. But I think, let me reword. I think it would depend on what else we would have to give up. Is it just a straightforward 1-for-1, or are they going to ask for more?
Well, I mean, I think the most they would ask for is like DJ in a 4th or maybe a 3rd, but
we take DJ and a draft pick, then I might consider it.
No. We.
You need of Kayvon Thibodeau and a draft pick.
Yeah.
At that point, I think I would rather a draft pick swap the 2 and do a 2 for 2. But that's just me.
I don't know, but I had to throw out some Bears trades in there.
I actually have an interesting destination for him. How about Seattle with the Seahawks
for DJ?
Yeah, because
Ben, we were just talking about, it's not going to happen. We were talking about teams who have a lot of salary cap, and Seattle has a lot of salary cap despite being the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
And we were talking about George Pickens having the non-exclusive tag, and we said, could you imagine if Seattle had a receiving core of George Pickens, JSN, and Cooper Kupp? We'd be back in the Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't know if Cooper Kupp is going to – how many more years he has there?
2.
He's 32, so probably 2 or 3.
Okay. I mean, I think, though, with Kupp, though, I mean, he's already won 2 Super Bowls. I don't think he really cares at this point what his role is. So, yeah, if Pickens came in, Kupp was asked to have, 4 catches a game, he's probably okay with that, because he just was on a team that won a Super Bowl. So, I don't think they do it, but I do think it'd be awesome. For Pickens, I don't know if it's guaranteed to be there in Dallas. I don't know.
Yeah,
but they obviously tagged him, but that doesn't. I mean, look at Teagan's. Obviously, I feel like Teagan's is kind of that blueprint name, like Pickens. So I think we'll see what happens. But
no, Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, do you guys have anything else to talk about? I mean, I think I'm good, but
I think I'm good.
I know I came in late. So, I mean, in terms of, you guys talk about the salary cap already?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, really outside of that, I mean, the NFL Combine, which I'll be honest, guys, I mean, I don't really go into that stuff. It's not really, I wouldn't say it's not my cup of tea, but like, I don't know a lot of these
No,
guys.
I'm the only one on the show that watched it.
Well, the big day is tomorrow.
Yeah.
In fairness,
Well,
the big d-
I'll watch like the throwing and stuff. The throwing is obviously always fun to see. So like I'll watch that and stuff like that, but like I really won't see anything else. What I did read actually though was the NFLPA put out the report cards for teams in terms of like the facilities and stuff, and the Patriots field got an F.
Well, the Giants field got an F too. The one that stands out to me though, the Bengals got treatment of families an F-.
Oh jeez.
How?
Wow.
How are you that bad with players and their families and kids?
Well, I don't know if you guys have been to Cincy. I have family roots in Cincy, and Cincy to me, I feel like is a pretty family-oriented city. So I am a little surprised about that. Maybe it's more of they just don't get enough fans to come because they haven't been good the last couple of years. So you can't.
I'm talking about players' families. Like supposedly they don't have a daycare for the kids during the games.
Yeah. Man.
So the players' kids and the wives have to wait all that time until their husbands finally make it out from the field to out of the stadium.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's ridiculous. In that case, I say disrespect the Bengals.
Yeah, no, figuratively literally. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I'm just gonna look into some other news. Falcons assistant apparently got fired for sexual assault allegations.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Their assistant D line coach or something like that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was. I think it was rape and assault that he had. This was again 5-6 hours ago that I'm just reading here. So I haven't really. I just literally just saw that now, so I haven't really gone into it, but I just saw that. Fernando Mendoza talking about TB12. Obviously, I'm very happy for him about that. I feel like him and TB12 would get along very well. I feel like
I agree.
Yeah. Fernando just seems like a guy, man. And there's a Jets podcaster. Shout out to this guy for the Jets, Jake Assman. And he put
I know of Jake.
Yeah, he was at the Combine actually, and I saw a video he posted on Twitter about he went up to I think Fernando. He found a way to go Fernando. He's like, "Hey, Fernando, you're always welcome to see if you want to come to the Jets." And Fernando just looked at him just like, well, we'll see. Like,
why do you think the quarterback from Oregon decided to go back to school?
Well, I don't know. I think partly for Dante Moore was like, I don't know personally if he was really ready. Like I do.
That may be true, but he also would have realized that he would be going to the Jets, and no one wanted to go to the Jets. So
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But do you also guys talk about Aaron Glenn falling asleep at the?
I did an impression of him while we were talking about.
Tom did an impression, and it was not as good.
While Grant was talking, I surprised him by saying.
You gotta find a way to put. I don't know. We're gonna do a football forecast for ANC edition, but you gotta find a way to do a video for Aaron Glenn's falling asleep. That would be amazing.
I wouldn't be surprised if after the show Nick requests me that next week I get something ready for you guys to play about it.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it. Like we gotta do something where like we have that video like throughout the NFL season. Like if the Jets have another game where they lose like 30-0 or something like that, we gotta just say Aaron Glenn was caught napping on the sideline,
or anytime that there's an NFL game that's boring, we just post the Aaron Glenn gif.
Well, you guys remember Aaron Glenn's press conference? You guys remember what he said? He's like, "We're the freaking New York Jets." Like, he like came in like, with this like killer mentality. And
It doesn't even sound exciting.
And now you go fast forward a year or two later at the NFL Combine, the dude is falling asleep at the wheel, where his team is. And I remember this morning telling Nick, and all Nick just did to me was just like this. He's like, I'm just like, yeah, man, what are you gonna do at this point? But yeah, I mean, besides that, there's really nothing else. Really excited for free agency.
Yeah, that starts soon. I mean, that's March 9th.
March 9th, yeah. It's going to be exciting.
That's
More biased.
March
be my favorite time of year, but
Yep.
We got that. We got March Madness coming up soon too, and then we got baseball sooner than later. So it's a really fun time of year. But yeah, football. We'll definitely get some news coming up pretty soon. But I really have nothing else besides you guys.
Yeah, I got nothing else for you guys. Thank you for all the 95 people that are watching. And
I'm glad this Twitter crap has finally sorted itself out.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I'm correct, the 95 people that are watching, that's the highest number that we've ever gotten for this show, I think. I'm not sure, but that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
So remember to follow us on the ETB network and follow the show at ETB Football Forecast or Football Forecast.
TFB Forecast ETB.
Oh, great. Really quickly, my Twitter handle, we're going to have to change that next week, buddy. I didn't tell you that.
Oh, that's right. Kruse90, right?
90. Yeah. I ended up changing it on my heading for the cycle at some point. But yeah, make sure to follow us on the socials.
Yeah. So have a good weekend, everybody. We will see you next Sunday.
Take care, everyone.
All right. See you guys.